Okay guys, welcome back. This is the first video of the browser scraping series, and I hope you're getting excited because we are going to get our hands dirty and start scraping from a web page. I just want to say a couple of things before we get started guys. The first being, if you haven't already gone to the essential bot guide section and watched the video on variables, I suggest you do that. With that being said, apart from that, you don't need too much of the information in previous sections of the site in separate modules. It would help if you've watched the beginner section, I guess, but apart from that, we're going to start from 0 and we're going to go to hero with the scraping lark. As I said in the previous introduction video, we're going to start by scraping with a browser and then data from a website, and then after that we're going to drop the browser and start taking on mass data sets. Okay guys, so I hope that's got you excited. The next thing that I just want to mention is that there's always more than one way to skin a cat. There's always more than one way to do a certain job, especially when we're making software and bots. There is method to my madness. I'm teaching you a certain way to do things in a certain order for a very good reason. I'm trying to grow your skill sets in a certain way before we tackle other methods. So we're going to start with the easiest methods of scraping. They're not necessarily the fastest way or the most efficient way, but it's giving you a really good foundation for that when we get to the more complicated methods that are also the most quickest and advantageous. You'll have a solid knowledge base of previous methods. Okay guys, with that being said, what we're going to do for our first little run is we're going to scrape some data. The site that I've chosen is called homes.com. It's a real estate site where you can find homes for sale, homes for rent, but also they have a section that lists local realtors that you can contact. So what I've done guys, I've picked a local realtor, not local to me, but one of the realtors. They're on the site, okay, at random, and we're going to take data from that page. Now you can find everything in this scraping tutorials in the resources section, so you can download a version to your BAS and you can look at the building blocks yourself so you can see what's going on. Okay, so, and also I forgot to mention the link to the profile that we're scraping I'll put under the video, but you can pick any of the realtors on the site to follow along with. Okay, so I've fired up BAS, and all I've done so far guys is just put the URL of the realtor that I showed you on Google into BAS. Okay, and what we're going to do is simply hover the mouse over the guy's name to start with, and always we're going to left click. And then this time guys, you want to pick the option get element text, and all that's doing is, as it says, getting the text that's in the element. Now that's the most basic way to explain to you what's going on, and that's all you need to know for now. Okay, so if we click that, now what we need to do guys is that information, the element information, the element text, okay, we need to save it into a variable. That's why I say that go and look at the video on variables. But to just sum up, a variable is a placeholder. You can call it an empty bucket, an empty space, whatever makes sense to you that you can put data into. Okay, so we need to make sure the variable's called a name that makes sense. So in this case, we're saving the person's name. So I thought a good name would be name underscore text. Go figure. But you can call it whatever makes sense to you, but make sure you call your variable something that's relevant so later on it makes sense to you. Okay, and then we hit OK. And then what we're going to do, just so we can see what's going on, is we're going to use tools and then log. And what data do we want to save to the log? The name text variable that we just made. And we hit OK. So what we've got so far guys is the bot initializes, it goes to the URL, it's grabbed the guy's name in this instance, it's grabbed the element text, okay, and then it's going to print it to the log. So just to go over things again, this time we're going to take the estate agency he works for, or his own estate agency, whatever the case may be. So we highlight the element, we left click, and we go to get element text once again. Now this time we're going to use a different variable name, of course, and something that makes sense. So I'm going to call it company underscore text. You can call it whatever makes sense to you. We hit OK, and we're done. Oh, no, we're not. That's a lie. We need to then go to tools again, go to log. What data do we want to save to log this time? And it's going to be company text. Hit OK, and there you go, guys. So we now have the bot go to the page. It's going to take the guy's name and save it to a variable called name text. It's going to print that into our log, the person's name, and then we've scraped another element, which in this case is the real estate company he works for, and then we're going to print that to the log. So we'll just come out of here, and what have we got? What happens? There you go. We scrape the guy's name, it's in the log, printed to the log, and the estate agency that he worked for. Okay guys, so go over that. The resource file will have, in the resources will be this file, so you can look at it yourself, but it's quite straightforward, and that's the most basic way of scraping. Okay guys, to take elements from a page and we can scrape that into the log. Okay, so I hope that makes sense, guys. In the next video we're going to really expand on this, so get ready for that, and I will see you in the next video.